The Baalbek stones are a truly baffling mystery of ancient engineering. Separate from the Temple of Jupiter, each of these massive blocks weighs an astonishing 900 tons. For decades, historians have confidently explained much of our world's past, but these colossal structures remain an enigma, a prehistoric phenomenon that defies conventional understanding. Join us as we delve into the wonders of the Baalbek complex, a site unlike anything you've ever imagined. Located in northeast Beirut, Lebanon, Baalbek is an ancient city with a rich history. Conquered by Alexander the Great in 334 BCE, the city thrived under Roman rule, becoming home to one of history's most magnificent architectural feats, the Roman-era Baalbek temple complex. This includes the colossal temples of Bacchus and Jupiter, celebrated for their grandeur. But beyond the temples lies an even greater marvel, the massive Roman stone blocks that have captivated researchers for centuries. Among these are 6 immense stones so impressive that photographs and videos fail to capture their full majesty. These ancient monoliths are so extraordinary that many believe they deserve a place among the wonders of the world. The most famous of these are the Trilithon, 3 enormous blocks that form part of the podium wall supporting the Temple of Jupiter. Each stone is estimated to weigh between 750 and 800 tons. Their sheer size and precision raise questions that modern science struggles to answer. Who built them? How were they moved? These stones are over 1,000 years old, constructed long before the advent of modern technology. Yet, their placement demonstrates extraordinary accuracy, making the Baalbek stones a pinnacle of ancient construction. Theories about their origins vary. Some historians credit the Phoenicians, while others point to the Romans. Intriguingly, the stone used for the temple's pillars originates from Aswan, Egypt, approximately 150 miles away. This raises even more questions. How were such massive materials transported over such a distance? As we explore these questions, one thing is certain. The Baalbek stones hold secrets that may redefine what we know about ancient civilizations. Let's uncover what we do know and speculate on the mysteries that remain. The Stone of the Pregnant Woman. The Stone of the Pregnant Woman, also known as the first monolith, remains in its original ancient quarry, about 900 meters from the Grand Heliopolis temple complex. Although it is the smallest of the 3 massive monoliths at the site, it has become the most famous, thanks to its excellent preservation and striking appearance. The angles at which it rests are truly remarkable, offering an unparalleled sight. Unlike the other stones, this monolith has never been completely buried by the earth, allowing it to remain visible for centuries. Its accessibility has drawn the attention of researchers, historians, and tourists alike. In 1996, a geodetic team from Linz, Austria, conducted detailed measurements of the site. Their goal was to determine the exact dimensions of the monoliths and investigate whether they were intended for use in constructing the enormous nearby Temple of Jupiter. Their findings revealed that the Stone of the Pregnant Woman is a rectangular block measuring 20.76 meters in length. At its base, it is 4 meters wide, but the width expands to 5.2 meters toward the top. The block stands 4.32 meters tall, with a density of 2.8 grams per cubic centimeter, making it one of the heaviest quarried stones known from ancient times. The name Stone of the Pregnant Woman carries several fascinating origin stories. One popular legend tells of a clever pregnant woman who convinced the people of Baalbek that she knew a secret method for moving the massive stone. Her condition? They had to provide her with food and care until she gave birth. Another explanation ties the name to Middle Eastern folklore, which speaks of pregnant jinn, supernatural beings, tasked with carving and transporting the monolith. These legends underscore the awe-inspiring scale of the stone and the seemingly superhuman effort required to move it. Locals also attribute a mystical quality to the monolith. It is said that a woman who touches the stone might experience an increase in fertility, adding yet another layer to its enigmatic allure. The Stone of the Pregnant Woman remains a symbol of ancient ingenuity, storytelling, and wonder, a testament to the mysteries that still surround the ancient world. The Stone of the South. The Stone of the South, also known as the second monolith, was rediscovered in the same ancient quarry during the 1990s. With an estimated weight of 1,279 tons, it surpasses the size and scale of the more famous Stone of the Pregnant Woman. However, its rediscovery brought confusion, as its exact location had been forgotten for centuries. This has led to some sources mistakenly referring to the Stone of the South as an alternate name for the Stone of the Pregnant Woman. To this day, many people struggle to distinguish between the two stones. The dimensions of the Stone of the South are nothing short of extraordinary. It measures approximately 20.5 meters in length, 4.56 meters in width, and 4.5 meters in height. Although parts of it remain buried underground, the visible portion of the monolith continues to awe visitors and researchers alike. This massive stone, like its counterparts, represents an incredible feat of ancient engineering and craftsmanship. Yet it pales in comparison to the next discovery, the even larger and more astonishing monolith known as the Forgotten Stone. The Forgotten Stone. The Forgotten Stone, also known as the Third Monolith, was uncovered in 2014 by archaeologists from the German Archaeological Institute during their research in the ancient quarry. The discovery of this incredible structure left researchers in awe. Weighing an estimated 1,650 tons, it is considered one of the largest stones ever quarried by humans. In terms of dimensions, the Forgotten Stone measures approximately 64 feet, 19.5 meters in length, 20 feet, 6 meters in width, and stands at least 18 feet, 5.5 meters high. Its sheer size cements its place as a monumental testament to the engineering and ambition of ancient civilizations. The biggest mystery surrounding the Forgotten Stone, like the other Baalbek monoliths, is why it remains in its original quarry. Why was such a massive stone, clearly intended for a significant project, left untouched? What halted the construction efforts involving these enormous blocks? These unanswered questions have puzzled historians and archaeologists for decades. The enigma of the Forgotten Stone adds to the intrigue of the Baalbek site. However, the mystery deepens even further with the discovery of the Trilithon, an astonishing architectural marvel located within the Temple of Jupiter complex. Together, these monoliths challenge our understanding of ancient engineering and continue to inspire wonder in all who encounter them. The Trilithon. The Trilithon, also known as the Three Stones, is an awe-inspiring set of three massive horizontally placed stones that form part of the foundational podium of the Temple of Jupiter Baal at Baalbek. Situated on a hill in the region known as Tel Baalbek, the Trilithon is as dramatic in appearance as it is impressive in engineering. Each of these enormous stones measures approximately 19 meters in length, 4.2 meters in height, and 3.6 meters in thickness. Their precision and alignment have left archaeologists and engineers equally fascinated. Adding to the intrigue, another set of supporting stones was discovered directly beneath the Trilithon, with each stone weighing an estimated 350 tons and measuring roughly 11 meters in width. The craftsmanship and engineering required to assemble such massive stones with such precision remain one of history's greatest enigmas. For context, lifting a single stone of the Trilithon's size today would require approximately 18 modern heavy-duty cranes. Transporting these stones over a distance of 1,500 kilometers, as they reportedly were, is an even more staggering challenge, especially considering the ancient builders lacked paved roads, engines, or machinery. Theories abound about how these stones were quarried, moved, and placed so precisely. Some suggest immense manpower and ingenious mechanical methods, while others hypothesize the existence of advanced, now-lost technologies. Whatever the truth, the Trilithon continues to challenge our understanding of ancient engineering and leaves us pondering just how much more there is to discover about the ingenuity of ancient civilizations. These questions, though numerous, inspire awe and curiosity. While we have many theories, definitive answers remain elusive, making the Trilithon a symbol of both human achievement and mystery. Legends of the Balck Stones. The massive stones of Baalbek have inspired countless theories and legends, many of which draw from ancient texts and folklore. Among these, some enthusiasts propose connections between the construction of the Baalbek temples and the biblical story of Noah. According to one interpretation, the builders of Baalbek may have used technology similar to that described in the construction of Noah's Ark. The Ark, described in the Bible as being 300 cubits long, 50 cubits wide, and 30 cubits high, would equate to a vessel about 450 feet long, 70 feet wide, and 40 feet high in modern measurements. While the Ark's structure was larger in volume, the weight of the massive Balck stones, especially the Forgotten Stone, far surpasses what the wooden Ark would have weighed. Supporters of this theory speculate that if Noah could construct such a colossal vessel, then lifting and transporting the Balck stones might have been achievable with similar expertise. Some even suggest that the work at Baalbek was abruptly halted by the biblical flood, leaving the stones abandoned and unfinished in their quarry or on site. Another prominent legend involves the biblical figure Nimrod, described as a mighty ruler and a builder of grand projects. Some believe the Baalbek stones were part of a grand scheme by Nimrod, potentially linked to the Tower of Babel. The tower, an ambitious attempt to reach the heavens, was reportedly abandoned due to divine intervention that introduced linguistic confusion among its builders. Perhaps, as some suggest, the Baalbek stones were left behind when the project was halted. Local folklore adds more layers to these tales. One story credits Cain, the biblical figure who committed the first murder, with constructing the Baalbek complex as a place to hide from God's wrath after killing his brother Abel. Another legend involves King Solomon, renowned for his wisdom and power. According to this version, Solomon commissioned the construction of Baalbek as a palace for the Queen of Sheba. To accomplish this, he enlisted the help of the jinn, supernatural beings known for their immense strength and magical abilities. The jinn supposedly moved the massive stones with ease, but their cooperation reportedly ended when they went on strike, leaving the stones abandoned. Among all these theories and legends, the one involving Solomon and the jinn has a peculiar charm, as it ties supernatural forces to the monumental engineering feats at Baalbek. However, despite the wealth of speculation, only fragments of evidence exist to support any of these ideas, leaving the true origin of the Baalbek stones shrouded in mystery. Mysterious graffito. The discovery of a mysterious graffito on one of the Baalbek stones has shed new light on the involvement of the Romans in the construction of the Baalbek temple. This carved or written message, left by a stonemason working on the Temple of Jupiter, was found on top of one of the massive columns that rest directly on the Trilithon stones. The graffito includes a date, August 2nd, 60 CE, which provides a timeline for the construction of the temple. This suggests that the site was likely nearing completion during the Roman period, supporting the idea that the Romans played a significant role in the project. The graffito, along with the intricate carvings, advanced engineering and use of massive columns seen at the site, strongly points to the Romans' involvement in the construction of the Baalbek complex. Further evidence supporting Roman involvement comes from the discovery of a construction plan engraved on one of the Trilithon stones. This sketch, likely left by Roman architects or builders, appears to be an early blueprint designed to guide the construction of the enormous structures within the Baalbek complex. The Romans were known for their meticulous planning and documentation, and this sketch fits their style, showing the detailed approach they took to ensure the precise execution of large-scale building projects. This finding reinforces the idea that the Baalbek complex was constructed with Roman techniques and oversight. Archaeological excavations under the temple also uncovered an unexpected discovery: the remains of an earlier settlement beneath the temple's foundation. Artifacts dating from the Neolithic era to the Iron Age were found, indicating that this settlement existed long before the temple's construction. The presence of these ancient artifacts makes it clear that the temple was built after the Iron Age, confirming that the structure was not erected during the same period as the earlier settlement. This finding further solidifies the timeline for the temple's construction and supports the theory that it was built by the Romans at a later stage. In addition to these discoveries, an architectural analysis of Podium Phi, located beneath the Trilithon stones, revealed striking similarities with the Temple Mount in Jerusalem. Scholars have noted that the podium shares a general resemblance to the Temple Mount, with similar proportions and measurements. The Temple Mount, a monumental Roman structure completed around 20 BCE, is an example of Roman engineering at its finest. The architectural parallels between the two sites suggest that the Baalbek complex, including the podium and Trilithon stones, followed the same Roman architectural trends and techniques, further confirming Roman influence in its construction. Despite the compelling evidence pointing to Roman involvement, one significant question remains. How were the massive stones, particularly the Trilithon stones, transported to the site? The sheer size and weight of these stones present a considerable challenge, and the transportation methods available during the Roman period seem insufficient to explain how they could have been moved. This puzzle has led researcher Graham Hancock to propose a radical alternative theory, which suggests that an ancient, lost civilization may have possessed the technology to transport these enormous stones. Hancock's theory challenges conventional views on Roman construction methods and offers an intriguing possibility for explaining the logistics of the Baalbek project. Graham Hancock Theory. Graham Hancock, a well-known researcher and author, has proposed a fascinating theory regarding the construction of the Baalbek complex and the mysterious Black Stones. He links the massive stone structures at Baalbek to an ancient lost civilization, which he refers to as the Old Civilization. Hancock believes that this civilization existed around 12,000 years ago, far earlier than most known ancient civilizations. According to his theory, this advanced civilization possessed sophisticated technology, which allowed them to construct remarkable structures, including the massive stones at Baalbek. One of the key reasons Hancock supports this theory is the unusual features found in the stones at Baalbek and similar ancient sites. For example, the stone cutting marks and the way the stones fit together with such precision appear almost seamless. Hancock argues that these precise cuts and perfect joints between the stones suggest the use of advanced technology, possibly even something as modern as laser cutting or techniques that we still do not fully understand today. He contends that such precision is far beyond what could have been achieved using the tools and methods available during the Roman period. Hancock also offers an explanation for what happened to this lost civilization. He believes that it was wiped out by a major global catastrophe, possibly caused by a comet impact. This event would have been powerful enough to cause widespread destruction, severely setting humanity back and erasing the advanced technology and knowledge developed by the old civilization. In Hancock's view, the few survivors who endured the disaster attempted to preserve their knowledge and skills, passing down whatever they could to the new civilizations that emerged afterward. However, over time, much of this advanced knowledge was lost or forgotten, including the construction techniques used at places like Baalbek. As a result, the reason we struggle to understand how ancient sites like Baalbek were built is that the methods and knowledge that made such constructions possible were lost to time. Hancock does not stop at simply suggesting the existence of an ancient advanced civilization. He goes on to challenge the more widely accepted theory that the Romans were responsible for building the Baalbek temple complex. While some believe that the Romans merely left behind the enormous blocks when they discovered they could not move them after they were quarried, Hancock dismisses this explanation. He argues that the Romans did not construct the massive stone foundation of the Baalbek temple, but instead built their temple on top of an older platform that was already in place. According to Hancock, the Romans were likely unaware of the existence of these giant stones, which were buried beneath many meters of mud when they arrived at the site. Rather than quarrying and cutting the stones themselves, the Romans would have simply utilized the megaliths that were already part of the sacred site to build the Temple of Jupiter. Hancock also points out that the Romans, known for their practicality, would not have let the massive labor already invested in the stones go to waste. He suggests that if the Romans had indeed found the stones and deemed them unmovable, they would have likely cut them into smaller, more manageable blocks to use in the construction of their temple. This, in Hancock's view, further reinforces his belief that the Romans were not the original builders of the massive stone foundations at Baalbek, but rather used an existing structure left behind by the lost civilization. Sitchins Theory. Sitchins Theory is almost unbelievable. Zechariah Sitchin, a theorist and historian, has taken a completely different approach to explaining the origins of Baalbek, drawing from ancient Sumerian records for his answers. His interpretation largely hinges on the famous Epic of Gilgamesh, an ancient text that tells the story of Gilgamesh, the legendary king of Uruk, and his quest for immortality. According to Sitchin, The Epic of Gilgamesh is not just a mythological tale, but a coded message that points to the significance of Baalbek as more than just an ancient temple or structure. He theorizes that Baalbek was actually a highly advanced spaceport. In Sitchin's interpretation, Gilgamesh's journey to Baalbek was not just a physical journey, but one tied to space travel. Sitchin suggests that Baalbek was the site where Gilgamesh boarded a spacecraft, which he refers to as the Bordershem. This spacecraft, according to Sitchin, would have taken Gilgamesh to the distant planet Nibiru, which Sitchin identifies as the home of the Anunnaki, a group of powerful gods in Sumerian mythology. Gilgamesh's desire to reach Nibiru was driven by his quest for immortality, wanting to live forever like the Anunnaki gods. Sitchin argues that the large, heavy stones at Baalbek make sense if the site was designed for space travel. The enormous stones were meant to support the heavy infrastructure and equipment required for a spaceport, in his view. The advanced knowledge needed to construct and operate such a site, Sitchin proposes, came from the Anunnaki, who either shared their technological expertise with humans or may have even built the site themselves. While this theory may sound far-fetched to some, it has garnered a following, with many holding on to the possibility that there is some truth to it. On the other hand, historians who point to Roman involvement in the construction of Baalbek have gathered more evidence supporting their views. However, the theory that remains most widely accepted among them is the Capstone Theory, which attributes the construction of the temple complex to Roman builders. Despite the wild theories surrounding Baalbek's origins, the Capstone Theory provides a more conventional explanation, based on archaeological evidence, for the site's construction during the Roman period. How capstan move the stones? Capstans, which were large mechanical devices used centuries ago to pull heavy objects with ropes, have been found in archaeological records, indicating they were tools known to ancient builders. These devices, used repeatedly over the centuries, serve as an essential part of understanding how massive stones were moved in the construction of ancient sites like Baalbek. The Capstone Theory, which is considered one of the most convincing explanations for the construction of the Baalbek complex, aligns with what we know about Roman engineering practices. One key piece of evidence supporting the Capstone Theory is the presence of holes drilled into the massive stones at Baalbek. These holes show where ropes were attached, a common method used by the Romans in their construction projects. By securing ropes to these holes, the Romans could employ capstans and pulleys to move and position these massive stones more easily. Additionally, the unfinished trenches found at the highest point of some stones provide another crucial clue. These trenches suggest that wooden rollers were placed beneath the stones to help move them forward. The use of wooden rollers would have reduced friction, making it easier to transport the heavy stones by allowing them to roll rather than being dragged. Experts estimate that it would have taken around 16 capstans, each with 4 pulleys and requiring 32 men to operate, to move one of these enormous stones. This combination of tools and manpower would have provided the strength necessary to move the massive stones into position. Interestingly, these construction techniques weren't exclusive to the Romans. Similar methods were used throughout history, including during the Middle Ages. The technology and knowledge to move such massive objects were available long before the modern era. For example, the Thunderstone, which holds the title of the largest stone ever moved by humans, was even heavier than the Trilithon stones at Baalbek. In the 1770s, this enormous stone was transported from Finland to Russia using capstans and wooden rollers. No advanced machinery was involved. Similarly, the Russians used manual tools and techniques to transport and erect the Alexander Column, a structure weighing about 600 tons. These examples show that ancient and medieval civilizations could move and position enormous stones with traditional methods, without the need for modern machinery. With evidence like this, historians suggest that ancient peoples were capable of constructing and positioning massive structures using methods that had been passed down through generations. Despite the fascinating mystery surrounding the Baalbek complex, the exact methods used to build it may never be fully understood. For now, we can continue exploring the wonders of this ancient site, marveling at the ingenuity and techniques of civilizations long past. If you found this video fascinating, don't forget to like and share, and if you're new here, Hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss an adventure into the marvels of history.